Coming up on OU Nightly, we do have rain that will continue throughout the weekend that could lead to a flash flood threat, and that will be affecting your weekend plans.
Plus, some homecoming events have already been changed, the changes you need to know about. And Norman families are at risk of losing food assistance, how local food pantries are helping. This is OU Nightly.
We have a chance for severe weather later this evening. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Colson Pocock.
And I'm Michael Thompson. It's been a wet and chilly start to this homecoming weekend. We are taking a live look here of Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. Skies are gloomy and some students did experience light rain on their walk to class.
OU Nightly meteorologist Dylan Strelko joins us in the studio. Dylan, is homecoming going to be a washout?
I'm going to be honest with you, if you were looking for a dry and sunny weekend for homecoming, it's not looking that great. We're looking at our live radar right now, and it's starting to light up with showers and thunderstorms off to our north, off to our west, off to our southwest, and that's going to be the trend as we go throughout the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours. But Parker Schrader, our OU Nightly meteorologist, is live outside. Parker, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Dylan, I got the Palace on the Prairie back behind me, and the winds have been blowing across the prairie over the last few hours. It's been bringing some northerly winds, some cooler temperatures. It's rained on me a few times before the show started. I don't know if you can see it on my jacket or not, but it's dry right now. But we do have some chances for later on tonight and into your tomorrow. But Dylan will have those rest of those details coming up. So, Dylan, I'll go and send it back to you.
Yeah, you want to stay tuned because we're going to talk about that flash flood threat as well as those cooler temperatures sticking around, and I'll have an update on that homecoming forecast.
The weather will be affecting some homecoming events this weekend. Both the annual homecoming parade and the Party on the Soville event have been canceled due to weather. And the Raw Rally dance competition has been moved up by an hour. The doors for the Raw Rally will now open at 7:30 and tickets are $10.
And despite last night's weather, the Soville Series concert featuring Dan and Shay went ahead as planned. OU Nightly's Ali Proctor spoke to students about their thoughts on the event.
And speechless is what Dan and Shay left OU after their homecoming concert on the Soville. The Soville has proved it is not just for walking to classes, as students eagerly awaited to get past the concert gates.
I came because it was free and it was an opportunity to come hang out with my friend and listen to music because we both like country music, you know. It was a fun thing to do together.
This homecoming week is a special one, as it is the first time OU introduces Showtime on the Soville. The night was filled with fun, as well as a surprise opener from the Pride and University President Joseph Harris Jr.
All right, we've got homecoming. We've been around for 135 years, and we thought with our second year in the SEC, it was time to up our game.
Behind me on the South Oval, a crowd has formed for Dan and Shay. It's not every day on college campuses that concerts just appear, and that has struck a chord with many students.
Hanging out with my friends, everybody jumping up and down, having a great time. It was so fun to see everybody having a great time with each other, strangers. Probably one of the highlights of my senior year, like so fun. I loved it.
This night was all the more magical to longtime Dan and Shay fan.
This is like one of my first concerts. Well, I've had a couple, but this is just added on to the list, and I really like Dan and Shay, so I'm glad that I got to see them in person.
The singing did come to an end, however, plenty of students want this tradition to continue.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it gets me out and about on a random night.
For sure. It was probably one of the best times I've ever had.
Oh, I absolutely think that OU should have more concerts like this.
I'm Ali Proctor in Norman, OU Nightly.
The Soville Series will continue next month with a Holiday Lights event on November 19th.
It's day 24 of the government shutdown, and millions of Americans are at risk of losing food assistance if the shutdown continues. The food stamps program will run out of money on November 1st. Mission Norman, the Salvation Army, and Norman Food and Shelter Incorporated are all seeing more people come to them for groceries and different resources.
We're definitely seeing an increase in the number of people that are visiting with us, and that's for two reasons. One is the furlough. People have already missed their first check from the government furloughs, and also getting the news this week about SNAP benefits not coming through on November 1st has a lot of families really scared.
More than 680,000 Oklahomans depend on food stamps to assist themselves or their families.
And coming up, the U.S. is ramping up attacks on narco organizations. The next step they're taking when we come back.
Plus, an update on renovations of the White House ballroom next on OU Nightly.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together. It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered an aircraft carrier strike group stationed in Europe to move. OU Nightly's Oliver Schaefer has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has ordered an aircraft carrier strike group stationed in Europe to the Caribbean. The Gerald R. Ford Strike Group and its associated air wing are being sent to, quote, dismantle transitional criminal organizations and to counter narco-terrorism. It will take days for the group to be able to launch any strikes. The East Wing of the White House has now been completely demolished in order to pave a way for Donald Trump's $3 million ballroom. This comes just days after the administration announced it would happen, which contradicts President Trump's earlier statement that the East Wing would not be touched. According to ABC News, Trump will likely name the ballroom after himself. Colson, Michael?
And coming up, a new park opens in Norman that connects both the community and the environment.
See how the city took an abandoned property and transformed it for the better when we come back.
And we have heavy rain moving in tonight and into tomorrow morning that could affect your homecoming plans. I'll have all of this and more coming up. Well, welcome back to OU Nightly. Right now, we are looking at this. We are looking to our southwest from the National Weather Center. This is Highway 9 and Jenkins right now, and it is pretty gloomy out there right now. A lot of clouds out there. Overall spotty showers, but it's a little bit dry right now. 63 degrees is that current temperature. And we're going to be seeing those temperatures a lot cooler this afternoon across the metro right now. So 62 in Norman, 61 down there in Purcell, getting to 60 up there in Guthrie, and even 59 over there in Watonga. And across the state, we're going to be, again, staying pretty cool. We're getting a little bit warmer down there in southwestern Oklahoma to about 69 degrees, but overall, a lot cooler than it has been overall this past couple of weeks. And we do have a low-end severe weather threat that we are watching for tonight. It is a marginal risk, a level 1 out of 5. So really going to be watching for some damaging winds and large hail, low tornado threat that we're going to be watching for. But we're looking at our live radar right now. We're going to be seeing those spotty showers really start to get going right now. You're going to be seeing the radar is really lighting up right now north of I-40, and we're seeing a second area, what we're calling a next round of storms for us here in Norman, coming out of southwestern Oklahoma right now. And we'll take a closer look at the metro right now. Like I said, we're seeing those spotty showers really start to light up the radar right here, looking at Norman. We were dry, but overall those showers are really starting to pick up in intensity over the next couple of hours, and that will continue through the rest of the night. We're looking at the rain totals that we've seen over the last 24 hours. Most of the rain has fallen north of I-40 and missed us here in Norman. We're sitting at right about 2/10 of an inch here, but we could be seeing some more rain totals increasing as we go throughout the rest of the evening and into tomorrow. And as we look at our future track, we're going to be seeing that second round of storms that'll be coming in here later on this afternoon and evening, and we're going to be seeing this really just stick with us throughout the rest of the night and into tomorrow morning. And one thing we are talking about is that football game tomorrow that is at 11 a.m. So you're seeing these storms are going to be, they're going to be hanging around here for that kickoff. So that's something to be watching for as we go throughout the night and into tomorrow. But here's your evening forecast. Like I said, just lots of rain. Those temperatures will be coming down into the 60s. The wind should stay light, however, and then tomorrow we're going to be warming up into the upper 60s. Again, we're going to be staying on that cooling trend, 70 down there in Ardmore. But then here's your game day forecast. So we're going to be seeing some potential rain in the morning, definitely for your tailgate hours. It's going to be nice and cold at 58 degrees there. But then at 11 a.m. kickoff at 61 degrees, and we're going to be, again, still seeing the chance for some rain, but that will continue to dwindle as we go throughout the rest of that game. But again, here's your 7-day forecast. We're going to be seeing those cooler temperatures really sticking around for the next 7 days. Again, the rain chance for tonight, tomorrow, and even tomorrow night as well. But overall, the next week does look pretty dry for us.
Well, I think I'm going to have to run to the store and go grab a poncho for the game. I'm not looking forward to the wet and dreary game, but it is what it is.
I'm always for some rain, maybe not on a game day, and especially with Norman and these floods.
Yes, the flooding is bad here, but hey, Norman is trying to do some things to fix that. The city of Norman is repurposing a flood-prone property into a new park. The green space located off of Lahoma Avenue is fittingly named Lahoma Grove.
The area includes signs dedicating it as a firefly habitat. The space also improves storm water management and protects homes and infrastructures in the surrounding area. The city says it plans to host community classes and workshops to explore topics such as native landscaping and flood risk reduction.
And up next, Ole Miss is headed to Norman, but their coach may be distracted by greener pastures.
And we will have the story of one Sooner who helped the offense find its running game last week. That's all coming up next in Big Friday Sports.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hello, I'm Kevin Daniel, joined by Elle Gedman, and welcome to Big Friday Sports. The college football coaching carousel is in full effect with 8 Power 4 head coaching positions open.
Yeah, Kevin, one of those being Florida after firing HC Billy Napier just last week. And a report says the Lane train may be making a one-way trip to Gainesville. But first, that train will be hitting the Norman station this weekend with big news. On 3 reports that Kiffin will be addressing the Florida coaching position with his players.
In the report from ESPN's Molly McGrath, Kiffin views the Florida opening as a compliment to his work in Oxford. OU Nightly Sports reporter Hallie McPherson has more on the Rebels' trip to Norman. Hallie?
Hey Kevin, this week Ole Miss traveled to Norman for the first time ever, which will happen more often now that the Sooners and Rebels are annual SEC rivals. I was at SEC Media Days and I heard what the Hottie Toddies think about playing at OU for the first time.
Excited. I really don't know what to expect about Norman, so that's why I'm most excited about it. And that's a tough football team over there, and it's always going to be a tough game when we play them. They're some tough football players, so I'm excited.
Not familiar team is kind of cool. You know, before it was tradition like Alabama, now we might playing OU. So just being able to just create a new kind of rivalry is kind of cool. You know, I took a couple visits there in high school. I know they have a really fantastic stadium. Their stadium seats a lot of people, and I know they're going to pack it. So just being able to play in that environment is going to be really awesome.
Ole Miss has 1 loss so far into their season, and it was on the road in Athens last weekend. Now they travel to Norman for the first time ever. But the SEC environment just means more.
You guys that have covered the SEC for a while, you can have teams that aren't even having a really good year for them, but you got to go play at their place down here, and it's just different. Every week you got to really show up. It's really like the NFL, and I don't feel like that is the case in these other conferences.
Ole Miss will continue to rely on transfer quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, who took over for the Rebels earlier this season. Chambliss has found success, but we will see if he can keep it up against an elite OU defense. Reporting outside Owen Field, I'm Hallie McPherson, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Hallie. The Sooners have spent most of the season searching for the running game, averaging under 2 yards per carry in 2 of their conference games.
However, last week, they had their best rushing performance in SEC play. Chris Holman has one Sooner who could be a difference maker against the Rebels. Chris.
True freshman running back Tory Blaylock burst onto the scene after a stellar performance against Temple, and he's only gotten better since then. Blaylock ran for a career-high 101 yards against the stout South Carolina defense, but he says it was just a team effort.
Everybody contributed to this performance. I also want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for allowing me to come out here and just play the game I love. So it just feels good to be back out here on the good side of things, winning, back in the driver's seat.
I mean, he's a pro. He's such a young kid, but he comes in every day. He wants to work. He wants to get better. He takes coaching. To have that type of maturity as a freshman coming to college and playing that physical, you don't see that a lot.
You talked about his consistency, and I know I've talked about it before. Like, those weren't just one-off deals. It constantly doing the right thing. And when he does mess up, okay, he doesn't usually make the same mistake twice. And so I think that speaks to a level of maturity for a kid so young too, to be able to take coaching, understand a mistake, and then fix it. And he does that at a high level. He just has a great way that he carries himself and his process, his preparation, his gameplay. And so, yeah, Tory's a stud.
After Blaylock's performance against the Gamecocks, he was awarded SEC Freshman of the Week for the second time this season. And Oklahoma fans are going to be hoping for another stellar showing from the true freshman in Oklahoma's homecoming game against Ole Miss. Elle, back to you.
Thanks, Chris. OU versus Ole Miss isn't the only hot topic this weekend. Keeping it in the SEC, number 3 Texas A&M hopes to stay alive in Death Valley versus 20th ranked LSU. And just off Broadway, the Mizzou Tigers traveled to Music City for a top 15 matchup. And we will see who's greater in the Great Lakes State when Michigan and Michigan State face off in the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy.
Well, El, when OU has the most starting QBs in the NFL, they're bound to keep playing each other. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs travel to the Bayou to face Spencer Rattler's Saints. They're going to look to light things up like Mardi Gras. Looking for revenge, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles host an NFC East matchup against the Giants, who squashed the Birds in their previous meeting.
We've talked college, we've talked pros. Let's talk who's looking hot under those Friday night lights. Hunter Cornejo has the latest in high school football in the huddle with Hunter. Take it away.
High school football across the state was moved to Thursday night to avoid the Friday night thunderstorms, but numerous lightning strikes in the metro ended up delaying games. This week we go to a district matchup in 6A1, Norman North hosting. Timberwolves hosting the Yukon Millers. First drive of the game, sophomore quarterback Nash Henry in a 3rd and long. He has to settle for the short pass out of bounds. Timberwolves forced to punt. Norman North student section still fired up. It's an early 4th and short. Yukon running back Destry Lujan takes a handoff, breaks a tackle, and gets into open space for the first down. A few plays later, it's 2nd down. Running back Prince Shelburne hits the hole, has green grass ahead of him. It's going to be a foot race to the end zone. He's brought down just short by Norman North's Kylan Johnson. The next play, Shelburne gets right into that end zone. Early 7-0 lead. Then lightning strikes. It takes over 2 hours for the game to start back up. Yukon picks up a big district win on the road, taking it 48-40. Staying in 6A1, Bixby and Oklahoma 5-star offensive lineman Caden Penny were on the road, taking on Florida State commit quarterback Jaden O'Neal. Spartans get the win 38-22. In 6A2, it's the battle for the top of District 1. Stillwater gets the win over Putnam City to stay atop the district standings. Back to you.
Thanks, Hunter. Coming up on Big Friday Sports, one NBA star had a career night in a finals rematch last night.
And some fresh faces on the court for the Sooners are ready for the road to the big dance. Don't go anywhere.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
One look at that game day forecast, we're going to be talking a lot about rain, and that rain is going to be continuing throughout tonight and into tomorrow, and it could be affecting your game day plans. So we're seeing tailgate hours about 9 a.m., seeing about 80% chance of rain right there, about 58 degrees, and we're going to see again 80% chance at kickoff at 11 a.m. So it's definitely something going to be watching for. You may want to bring a poncho, maybe an umbrella. Overall, it's going to be a wet one, it's looking like, but the rain chances should be dwindling as we go throughout the rest of the game into the afternoon. You're going to see those rain chances decrease to about 30% by 1 p.m.
Thanks, Dylan. Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. With the NBA still in its first week, things are heating up on the court.
Yeah, and forget being a second half team. The OKC Thunder may be an overtime team with both regular season games they've played going into double overtime. Last night's thriller was a rematch of the 2025 NBA Finals as the Prairie met the Crossroads of America in Indianapolis. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the team with a career-high 55 points, while Ajay Mitchell began his sophomore campaign with a career high of his own with 26 points. Thunder get the win over the Pacers 141-135. OKC is now the first team in NBA history to play 2 double overtime games to start the season.
The Thunder travel to Atlanta and Trae Young tomorrow, but first, Buddy Hield and the Warriors head northwest to face the Trailblazers tonight. Meanwhile, Austin Reeves and the Lakers take on the T-Wolves, and rookie Jeremiah Fears' Pelicans play the Spurs.
Al, how about we stop living in the past and talk about the now of OU basketball? After the Sooners' first trip to the NCAA tournament in the Porter Moser era, OU heads to Milwaukee for an exhibition game against Wisconsin tonight. Porter Moser is ready for the challenges of playing an SEC schedule.
The 4 years I've been at Oklahoma, I've been in the #1 rated basketball conference all 4 years. I'm Tony Gwynn, I'm 4 for 4. Looking at what the SEC signed this year, I'm going to be Ichiro. I'm going to be 5 for 5. That's how good I think the SEC is going to be this year. But I think the thing that you've got to have when you're in a league this loaded, there's got to be some resiliency with your team through tough times. And I thought that's what we had last year.
Yeah, Kevin, speaking of the now, OU women's basketball starts exhibition play in just 5 days. The nation's #1 overall recruit, Aaliyah Chavez, says adjusting to college ball wasn't easy, but the team is feeling good to go for this season.
On court, I mean, I would say the same thing like Reagan said. Like, it is a little difficult at the beginning just because you have to learn with the post, like, you have to learn where they want the ball. You have to learn when to give them the ball. Like, that was hard at the beginning. But, like, going into this, like, practice season that we've been doing, like, you can see how much better we're getting on, like, just our team chemistry. For me, when she sets the screen, when to hit it to her, when not to hit it to her, like, you can see how much better we're on. And off the court, like, we went to dinners. We've had that connection.
OU women's soccer plays their final game of the regular season against Arkansas on Sunday. In their most recent game, the Sooners stunned the Longhorns 4-2. Brenlin Mullaney and Claire Curran were on Sooner Sports Pad this week. Here's their thoughts on the Red River win.
Yeah, I think that a lot of us underclassmen wanted to do it for the seniors, and when we were down 1-0, it kind of was like a slap in the face. We got to like lock in and really push for them. So it was good. It was a great win for us, and it made us a lot happier that it was on senior day. We knew we had to win, and it just felt amazing to do it to them and for us.
Oklahoma men's tennis is making a racket here in Norman, coming off of a sweep of the ITA Central Regional. 4 players qualified for the NCAA individual championships. Now they are currently hosting the ITF 25K Norman Open, which will span from October 20th to the 26th.
Yeah, and serving things up for the women, OU women's tennis finished the ITA Central Regional with Julia Garcia Ruiz qualifying for the NCAA individual championships. Next, like Super Bowl QBs, they'll be headed to Disney World for the ITF W35 in Orlando from November 3rd through the 9th. Well, thanks for watching Big Friday Sports.
We'll be back here next week in Studio A with all the Sooner updates. Be sure to watch OU Nightly weekdays live at 4:30. Have a fun and safe game day, and make sure to keep that poncho ready.
Water is our most precious resource.